Well, how's it going, everyone? This is Carpo with part 3 of my comment responses or question responses. Who would have known it was going to be such a long road just to answer questions? But it's been a couple hours since I did that second part, and I'm getting tired and I'm ready to go to bed, but I thought I needed to answer the last few questions because it's only fair. I don't want to leave people, hanging, because I started from the last questions and I'm going towards the first, so it's only fair that I actually answer the first questions. Excuse me. But since somebody actually left one just a few minutes ago that I wanted to add along to that, the previous ones, and this is from Karen, and she asks, do you still garden a lot with your heirloom seeds? What do you like growing the most? Also, how did you meet your wife? Yeah, I garden, and I'm actually that's funny you say that, garden to my wife, because my wife just dug up the garden today. She hand dug it. We don't have a tiller. And, yeah, she's a great woman. I met her when we were, 23. I was 23. And I met her when I worked at a gas station. And I went in early to work in the morning shift, and she worked at the restaurant next door. And I would go in there and get breakfast, and she'd leave little notes on the inside of the containers, and I just didn't pick up on the hints. And eventually we started seeing each other, and we got together, and been together ever since. And as for the gardening, yeah, I'm getting ready to plant a lot of great things, but really I like to grow everything because I love the decoration plants. I love growing tobacco just for the hell of it. But I really try to grow things I like the most, like carrots. But, I try to grow lettuce and stuff, but I don't eat it all. I don't eat enough of it, and, So, for now, gardening is awesome for me. I eat as much as I can, and I love growing everything. Sweet peas and all that stuff. So the next question, I flipped down here, it was, the next one I think was from Ibtida Sabur. What do you think about the Federal Analog Act and its relation to RCs, like 4-ACO-DMT? A lot of RCs seem to be considered safe in order legally, but it doesn't make sense to say that they're safe legally with the Analog Act in effect. Well, if you're asking if it's about the weirdness about buying stuff online, I really don't know. I just avoid all those things and all the analogs. I'm not a big on that. I generally avoid RCs, and for those who aren't aware, that's, research chemicals, which there are a lot of, generally safe or legal psychedelics you can still obtain online, but it's, I stick with the old school stuff that I know, and from trusted sources, and I'm kind of sketched out buying because most of the stuff comes from China. So, who knows what you're getting? Be cautious, But I don't know what to think about the Analog Act and all that. I know they have that in the UK, but I don't think it covers everything here in the US the way it does there. But, yeah, other than that, I'm not really sure. I'm kind of sketched out with DMT. It's not my thing anymore. It just doesn't seem to teach me much, so I'm kind of, I know it's available easily, and I won't get into detail on that one. So, flip down here. Okay, thanks. Carpo, could you give me a rough estimate on how often you take kratom when taking it for pain? I realize everyone's different and everyone has a different answer, but I don't have a starting point. Okay, well, that's a good question. In my opinion, and from what I've found, if a person's never taken any opiates or any kratom, starting with a teaspoon might be just a great for pain. But it depends on the, severity of the pain. I suffered from sciatica for years, and it was horrible, debilitating, couldn't work. So I would take up to a tablespoon twice a day. Now, in recent years, I've taken more over the period of time, but usually I don't take more than, say, 6 teaspoons a day spread out over usually 3 doses. But for extreme pain, I'm willing to take much more, so it really depends on how I feel. Let me make sure here. Okay, I'm going to flip down through here. Yeah. I hope that answers the question. Everybody's different, but 1 teaspoon to 3 teaspoons is generally what, I've heard from people. The Dreamer is Me asks, where can I download some good underground tribal mixes? I really don't know. I'm sorry. I'm not. I wish I knew, actually. I'm really into that stuff. I would only offer one guy that I really enjoy that's going to be at the thing I'm going to soon, which is Soohan. Soohan. And he does some really good mixes on YouTube and stuff, and I really dig it. I've been listening to it lately. So the last one, which was actually the first post, and the first question, from Renee. Hello, Renee. She says, okay, I need kratom, blah, 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 blah. Also, I need something for inflammation. What's good for ADD, HD, ADD? Okay, well, first off, for inflammation, I would say turmeric for an herb. For ADHD, ADD, I really don't know. Maybe ashwagandha. And the next question is for fatigue. I might say ashwagandha or guarana. The next question is, does one build up a tolerance to kratom after 1 month or so, making whatever strain you were taking ineffective? Yes, it does, absolutely. Meng Da, here's what I've heard from reading the forums and over the last 7 years of taking it and talking with people. Some strains that I've found are just phenomenal. People say, oh, I ordered from this new vendor and it's just such great kratom. And then they try it for, a couple days, and all of a sudden by the third day it doesn't even work. Some strains will work for a week or two. Others will work for a month or even more. I mean, most of the strains that I can take daily and still get a similar effect. But sometimes I want more of an effect. So I take a different strain. And the red strains can actually give you more of a body feeling, so you can actually notice it's there, whereas the greens don't tend to do that as much. So, yeah, I switch off strains every time I take it, to be honest. I take something different every single time. And that keeps it working for me. So you did a video on potentiators. Would you suggest taking that route for someone with severe pain they can't walk, and which ones? I can't suggest anything for that, but I would say that, in my experience, you could take turmeric with kratom. That seems to be a great combination. Some people find that, taking curcumin piperine extract can be useful, but it's really experimental, and everyone has to find out what works for them. It's hard. How much kratom should one take daily? Oh, I answered that previously. So yeah, 1 to 3 teaspoons for me. Some people take a half an ounce. Oh, the next question is, what's the max? I don't know if there is a max. It's whatever your body can handle and whatever you think is legitimate for your needs. Have you ever thought about making an app? No, I haven't. I don't know anything about that. I wouldn't know what to make. How about teaching vids? Okay, well, I don't know. It's possible, maybe, but I just don't know if I have the organizational skills to make that happen, to be honest. What are your thoughts on CBD oil capsules? Ooh, that's a tough one, and I could go on, and I have videos about that already, so you can look up my CBD video about that stuff. Some of the CBD products are total shit, some of them are great, but CBD is being touted as this cure-all, and it's not a cure-all. It's great for the needs that it's been, used for, but it's also, since it's legal, it's this, all of a sudden CBD is everywhere. I take it, I don't notice any anxiety reduction. It's not a mindset or a mind change, but it does have cancer preventative properties, and it seems to be very useful for a lot of people, but I won't go into the details on that here, because when you say capsules, it really depends. It could be like just the Rick Simpson oil capsules, or it could be some high BHO extract or CO2 extract capsules, and I don't know. Okay, you said somebody sent you one and they were great, you felt great. So I don't know. I don't know if that's placebo or it worked. I have no idea. So It helps with the anxiety. Hey, it might have. That's anxieties, that's helpful. Okay, sorry, anybody who doesn't realize that I'm reading here while I'm trying to answer. My last part of this question and the end of the video. What would you recommend for severe anxiety? I would recommend breathing exercises and a proper diet first and foremost, and mindset practice constantly. After that, for herbs, maybe ashwagandha or mucuna might help, maybe not. Kratom helps me, so it's really up to the person. Sometimes no herb will help, it's just mindset. Are you a vegetarian? The final question. No, I'm not a vegetarian, and I'm not interested in really being one. I've considered it, and I've thought about it, the idea of being vegan, and I don't eat nearly as much meat as I used to, probably less than half of what I did when I was younger, but for dinner, at least a couple times a week, I'll have either beef or chicken or turkey. I eat eggs, of course, so I'm not vegan for sure, and I couldn't, I like cheese and milk. So it's a matter of moderation for me, and I understand that why people are vegetarian, so I'm not opposed to the idea, and I think it's great. But what I will say on the issue is that the way that we farm, the way that we raise animals, is damaging to the environment, and I realize that, and I know why being vegetarian could, supposedly prevent some of the damage that's being done by animals to the, to the air, to the water, but, like massive amounts of cows. But the fact is, if you eat, grass-fed beef and you eat it rarely, or, free-range chickens, and don't eat it all the time, a couple here and there, you're going to be all right, I think. But that's up to each individual person. So anyhow, I hope everybody's doing well. That was the answer, the end of my Carpo's questions. I'm doing this in my car in case you hadn't figured that out, because it was the last quiet spot. So I'm going back inside now, and I'm going to have, a nice evening. Ooh, it's actually pretty warm out here. Cool. Well, it was nice. I love getting all your questions. It was great. I appreciate answering them. It's enjoyable. So I'll talk to you all later. Have a